After a long period of being ridiculed, Bharat Empire fans finally received exciting news that the United States decided to sell F-35 to India. I made a video about this topic a few days ago. My analysis at that time was that even if India placed an order, it would have to join the waiting queue. Because the U.S. aviation industry is suffering from the biggest winter in history, China's embargo on rare earths, special metals, and sensitive parts to the United States has directly affected the U.S. aircraft production capacity. And due to the high IQ of Indian engineers, American aircraft manufacturers such as Boeing and Lockheed Martin are facing a serious quality crisis. Passenger planes, Black Shadow helicopters, F-18, F-35, etc. have crashed and collided one after another, causing heavy losses. The United States has become the second largest country in aircraft crashes after India. Moreover, Bharat fans may not know that India has not signed a formal purchase contract with the United States, but only an intention. Trump asked India to purchase billions of dollars of weapons, first to pave the way for the F-35 order. At the same time, the U.S. sale of F-35 often comes with strict conditions. Turkey, a NATO member, was disqualified from purchasing just because it purchased Russia's S-400. India's position is obviously not as good as Turkey's. India has more Russian weapons. Even if the Americans sell F-35 to India, they will attach strict terms of use to prevent Russia from obtaining F-35 data. As for the price, the Bharat Empire naturally needs to obtain F-35 at a price beyond human imagination. After all, Rafale is sold for $165 million per aircraft. How can F-35 be cheaper than Rafale? Starting at $200 million per aircraft. Of course, for the Bharat Empire, a global economic superpower with a per capita GDP lower than that of Bangladesh, this amount of money is nothing. If they develop it themselves, referring to the Tejas fighter, the biggest joke of fighter jets in human history, the unit price of India's fifth-generation fighter AMCA should be much higher. Besides, the residents of the Bharat Empire are used to living in slums, not having enough food and no toilets. It is useless for the Indian government to keep the money. It is better to use it to buy fifth-generation fighter jets and revive Bharat military. But the problem is that China has equipped 300 J-20 fighters and is still in production. J-35 has also entered the mass production stage. If the Bharat Empire buys F-35, it needs to ensure its numerical advantage over China and Pakistan, which is a very difficult thing. China's industrial production advantage in the Navy has shocked the U.S. military. In the next 10 years, China will increase its aircraft carrier battle groups to more than 6 and equip a large number of the latest 055, 052D destroyers, 095, and 096 nuclear submarines. At the same time, China will also be equipped with the world's largest number of drones and robot dogs with the best performance. In addition to the fifth-generation fighters such as J-20 and J-35, China's H-20 stealth bomber, various tankers, transport aircraft, early warning aircraft, and electronic warfare aircraft will be mass-produced. After all, China is the world's factory. Mass production of weapons at the lowest cost can enhance national defense capabilities, stimulate employment, and boost the economy, killing two birds with one stone. China will continue to strengthen its missile defense system and nuclear weapon projection capabilities to ensure sufficient secondary nuclear strike capabilities to destroy potential enemy countries such as the US and India. China will also vigorously promote its space program, especially the expansion of space stations, landing on the Moon, and exploring Mars. Its goal is, of course, to make the U.S. invest heavily and fight a war of attrition with China in various fields to compete in hard power. China's manufacturing industry exceeds the sum of Western industries such as the United States, and the number and quality of talents far exceed that of the West, with greater stamina. China has long pursued peaceful diplomacy and is friendly with third-world countries. It has no major enemies, but has various friendly relations accumulated over the years. For American watchdogs like India, What China must ensure is to build a circle of anti-India alliances around it, provide advanced weapons to countries around India at low prices, especially strengthen armed and economic assistance to Pakistan, and build Pakistan and Bangladesh into South Asian countries that are ahead of India economically and more advanced militarily. Let these South Asian countries maintain strong pressure on India, strike against the expansion of the Bharat Empire in South Asia, and destroy its inexplicable arrogance and vanity. China's sixth-generation fighters and stealth bombers have been successfully tested, and research and development units will work overtime to ensure early mass production. In the future, China's goal is simple: to let Pakistan equip fifth-generation fighters before India. If the Indian Army begins to receive F-35, China will accelerate delivery efforts. At the same time, China will ensure that the number of sixth-generation fighters is greater than the number of India's fifth-generation fighters. There is actually no specific goal, just to maintain the humiliation of the Bharat Empire. Of course, we cannot fail to mention Russia. As the biggest supporter of India's military technology, it can be said that without Russia, India's so-called domestic aircraft carriers, nuclear submarines, and other projects would not be possible at all, and space exploration would not have achieved results. But after the outbreak of the Russian-Ukrainian War, India abandoned Russia. Today's Russia urgently needs to sell weapons for foreign exchange to boost the economy. India's purchase of F-35 and abandonment of Su-57 at this time will become Putin's unacceptable behavior. Putin's account book also records Modi's shameless behavior of purchasing Russian energy at a low price and reselling it at a high price. When Putin and Trump finish the negotiations and reach a compromise, the Russian economy will usher in a rapid recovery. At that time, the Russians will send a bill to the Bharat Empire. If Modi refuses to pay, the consequences will be very serious. In fact, the Indians have never figured out that the humiliating situation facing the Indian Army today is essentially caused by India's weak economic strength and backward technology. A backward country that has not completed industrialization, where people cannot even have enough food and toilets. But they dream of building aircraft carriers, advanced fighter jets, intercontinental missiles, and exploring space all day long. Behind all kinds of face-saving projects, India has not gained any real strength improvement, but has only fattened more corrupt officials. Faced with the continuous technological breakthroughs of its northern neighbor and the formidable strong manufacturing industry, even if India invests half of its fiscal revenue in the military, it will not be able to gain any advantage. India will not get the F-35 in the short term. Even if India gets the F-35, it will not change India's backward situation. On the contrary, it may create various new shameful records for Lockheed Martin. I suggest that Modi calm down. Instead of being a dog for the Americans and buying F-35 fighters that are not known when they will arrive, it is better to please Xi Jinping, be a dog for China, and then confess to South Asian countries such as Pakistan, Nepal, and Bangladesh. In this way, China can sell the sixth-generation fighter to India, allowing the Bharat Empire to gain glory beyond its former masters, the United States and Russia.